Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In just our first 100 days, this House Republican majority has been hard at work fighting for those families who have been left behind for far too long. We've seen the devastation that President Biden and Speaker Pelosi and Chuck Schumer's agenda just these last 2 years have done to drive up inflation, to hurt families in their pocketbooks, driving up energy costs, making our nation less safe, both here at home and abroad, with our border wide open. And they asked for a different direction. And when we ran last year, we promised the American people that they would get a different direction if they elected this Republican majority. We ran on a commitment to America, and the good news is, in our first 100 days, we have already been hard at work following through on those promises. Now think about the different pillars that we ran on. We ran on 4 different pillars: an economy that's strong, a nation that's safe, a future that's built on freedom, and a government that's accountable. Now, I think to most Americans, Joy, we've actually been following through on this. To people who like the old way that Washington has worked, including people in the White House, they're probably not happy that we've been pushing back on all of the reckless agenda that's hurt those families. But I think it's important to talk about some of the numbers, and the Speaker touched on that. 59 bills that have been passed already, compared to 37 in Speaker Pelosi's first 2 years under President Biden. The rule bills that have been signed into law by this Congress are 50% more than the rule bills signed into law in the first 100 days, when Democrats had every piece of lever of Washington, House, Senate, and White House. And yet we've already got 50% more, including a bill to address crime in D.C., a bill that initially some people were calling a partisan exercise that ended up getting such overwhelming Republican and Democrat support that the president, who originally said he would oppose the bill, ended up signing into law. The good news is we have a few more bills to stand up for police officers and stand up for hardworking families, and the president said he would veto those bills too. So if you look at the president's track record, most of the bills that he signed into law are bills he originally said he would oppose. And so if he comes out against a bill, it means there's a pretty good chance he actually might end up signing it into law, and it's going to help families all across America. And so if you just hit these 4 pillars, an economy that's strong. Look at H.R. 1, the Lower Energy Costs Act, where we said for far too long, President Biden's made our country dependent on foreign lands for our energy. And what has it done? It's emboldened cartels, it's emboldened countries like Russia and Iran, and it's jacked up energy costs for families. 40% higher energy costs when people go to fill their car up. 30% or more higher that they're paying for household electricity. House Republicans stood up and said, we're going to do something about that, and we actually had Democrats join in with us. It's time for Chuck Schumer and the Democrat Senate to take up H.R. 1 and stand up for families who are sick and tired of paying too much for their energy costs. Let's get that bill signed into law. You're going to see us roll out tomorrow the plan to address the nation's debt ceiling, while at the same time addressing Washington's spending problem that got us into this mess, where President Biden has maxed out the nation's credit card. He's done it by reckless spending, and here we're going to be rolling out a plan to address that problem as well. So over and over again, you've seen President Biden joining with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer to create problems for families. You've seen this Republican majority hard at work in just 100 days, addressing every single item that we talked on. This week, in fact, we're going to start a border security package through the Judiciary Committee to address this massive problem where millions of people have come across our border. And it's not only an American national security problem, but look at how many young people have died. Every single day in America, nearly 300 young people are dying because of drug overdoses from drugs like fentanyl, because President Biden opened up the southern border. Why doesn't President Biden care about the 300 young people that will die today and that will die again tomorrow? We're going to bring a bill to the floor to fix that problem too. I sure hope, finally, President Biden and Chuck Schumer and Democrats and the president will join with us and stand with those American people who are sick and tired of being left behind by Washington. You've got a House Republican majority that's proud to stand with those families who are struggling. Let's go do something about it and get this great country back on track. Now the man who's been helping us get the votes for that, our whip, Tom Emmer.